This is Trieste Port. It is a water-themed ex-nanotrescent oil rig server. The lore here is obviously a lot different than normal space station. Things are very moody, things are very rundown and rustic. I mean, just listen to the audio as you walk around the top of this oil rig. Things clearly are in some states of disarray, disrepair. However, you and a full crew of others that have relatively normal jobs to space station, but things obviously function a little bit different when you're in a planet and have a normal atmosphere, but now you have water as something to deal with. I'm a species known as a gelid. They are native to this region, and they are a water-breathing species. They do not eat normally. They actually have a very unique function where they gain their energy through batteries, so you hold something like a power cell or a disabler in your hand in order to eat. Otherwise, well, you will eventually start to die. So you do not need to eat or drink as a gelid. However, you need to have a power source. It is also worth mentioning with gelids, they do not get cold. Normally this area out here is very cold, but since they're native here, they are very well adapted to the ocean environments of this Trieste Port region area, the planet, whatever the case may be. They also can go underwater without a suit and not worry about that. So they're naturally good survivors in this area. As I'm walking around, you should be noticing something. There's only a few actual departments here. Up here is really just the basics. You have a cargo bay, so nothing's really all that different from a cargo. They still get supplies, but there's no ships incoming or outcoming or outgoing. They just have all their business done here. There is a salvage wing, but salvage is not done up here. Salvage is actually done underwater, but we'll get to that. There's a bridge where the overseer, otherwise known as the captain, do their work here. There's also security up here, telecoms, and the clinic, which you will probably need to visit the clinic often on this server. The server is very dangerous, especially trying to learn it. And here's one example of why it's dangerous. This down there is the ocean. We are looking at the surface of the planet. And if I were to ever accidentally step off of this top platform, yes, you will indeed fall all the way down into the ocean. There is some Z levels here. It is very dark. You pretty much in the blind have to walk around until you can see some form of light or hope there's somebody down here to help you. Without help down here, you could very well bleed out from your fall if you're any more injured, but you just want to try crawling your way to the supports of this oil rig. So we can see we found a support and some more semblance of an actual structure. Down here, I believe this area is called the wastewater. Not much goes on down here. You don't want to be here because this is just kind of full of garbage. It's really, really run down as a support structure. It's very, very aesthetic, though. Like, the mood down here is great. Obviously going to be a place where people use to get away from things, hide away. It's very restrictive down here. It's not much of a reason for you to be down here if you're trying to do your normal job or operate it. If you find this ladder, you can just drag yourself onto this ladder, and you'll appear back up on the actual oil rig part itself. My job here, though, is a pilot, and I cannot do that here. I'm not a pilot of a ship, I'm a pilot of a mech. And to get to that mech, we need to go under the ocean. And that docking arm, it has what is known as the diving bell. And that diving bell is used to actually get under the sea, and where most of the jobs are is actually done. Once you get in the diving bell, there's two options. Sweetwater, which is underwater, and Trieste, or Trieste, is where we are right now. So we need to head to Sweetwater, where most of the station is operated. Now it'll be quiet, so you can listen to the audio. If that doesn't get you in the mood for some underwater exploration and working underwater, the server honestly gives really big BioShock, somewhat Subnautica vibes, but it's definitely more BioShock inspired. It definitely isn't as appealing as Rapture, but there's some Rapture-esque theming here. It's kind of criminal. It's a little bit shady, a little nefarious. This is an ex-nanotrescent oil rig, as far as I'm aware, in the lore. But as you walk down the halls here, you can see everything is very industrial, built for a purpose, built for a reason. And salvage is the job my pilot is. So just very quickly, I'll walk in here and show you the room. So this is the room where most of the expeditions will be sent out. I am the pilot, so I will be actually piloting this rotund stepfather. If you get the reference here and what it actually looks like, you probably have an idea of what this thing's actually for. But there's dangers out there in the ocean, and there's also goods out there in the ocean that we're going to need to help run this station, and the pilot is definitely a unique role in that aspect. You, along with other people, are going to be sent to go out there in the ocean to repair some of the forward operating bases, find supplies, and all of that good stuff, but it is certainly a dangerous one out there. One aspect that is immediately not super obvious in the rotund stepfather is there's actually a ghost role attached to this that basically lets a player play as the other hand in the mech, so they could use that hand to help you with your job actually out here. One of the coolest parts of this is, since this is underwater, when you open a door to the ocean, yeah, that water has to come in somewhere. It's a very cool process. I'm pretty sure it isn't like actual water. I think it's just a gas, but the illusion works perfectly fine. It just works in general. So I brought the mech out here. I'm also wearing the armored suit, but I could just take the suit off real quick. This species, again, has no issue at all being out here in the water. In fact, if you're out here in the water without your water tank as a gelid, you're totally fine. You can actually breathe out here no problem, and you're not slowed down at all. So just showcasing these species off a little bit. However, be very, very cautious out here in the waters. The creatures out here may not be very strong on their own in individual numbers, but if you were to fight one by yourself and they get a few hits on you, they will put you to sleep and you will not find your way out here. Interestingly, the drifters don't seem to like react to the mech itself, so the mech out here actually has a really easy time clearing the way, and I have to assume it's some form of bug, because if I were to get out of the mech, things are not quite as easy for you down here. Drifter, which is what these like little spider creatures are known as, definitely still attack you, and if they hit you too many times, they will put you to sleep. As you can see, I am already slowing down. It is worth mentioning that this server is obviously in playtesting phases. Certain things are just not going to work perfectly, or I mean, the space station itself isn't a playtest, so don't go into this please thinking you're going to have an absolutely flawless, perfect experience with no flaws. This is an example of a wreck out here, just a sunken underwater building. There is a job specific to come out here and to fix things up like this, get them running and act as forward operating bases. I believe these areas are like salvage wrecks, for example. They are randomized per round. I think some of them are consistent. I haven't even been able to catch a playtest. Here's another creature, the mimic. A horrific ambush predator. It infests fish until disturbed by larger prey and uses electricity to mobilize their targets. Again, another example of why you must be very, very careful out here by yourself. There's a large portion of the crew is actually designated to be coming out here and working under the sea, working out here in the danger area. Because otherwise, getting materials and stuff only comes through passive gain on cargo, and you're going to need goods and stuff to actually run the server, run the port. I could go on for a long time talking about other unique features of this whole oil rig, this server in general, but I want people to actually play this and discover it themselves. I think hopefully just walking around showing the immersion, the immersiveness of the water, the underwater, showing off one of the unique roles as the pilot should encourage people to come play this. This is a medium roleplay server. It is in playtesting phases, so you have to catch it during one of these playtests. I'm pretty sure it's only during playtests. Like, I didn't see it on the hub. There is a playtest this Saturday at 5 p.m. Pacific, but if you join the Discord, you'll get the timestamp. Again, just join the Discord, you'll get those times. Thank you for watching.